So obviously, the fight is about to happen between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. So I thought I decided to make a video where I talk about the 3 reasons why I think Errol Spence could win this fight. I'm going to give 3 reasons why I think Terrence Crawford can win a fight in a separate video, and then I'm going to make a separate video where I just make I make a review, like literally a prediction of who I think is actually going to win. So right now we're going to focus on Errol Spence. Why do I think Errol Spence has got a very good chance of beating Terrence Crawford when they fight tonight? And the 3 reasons why, there's 3 reasons why I think he can beat him. Now, the 3 reasons, the first reason why I believe he can actually beat Crawford is he is bigger. So, as we know, Crawford has come from the lighter weight classes, right? He's come from, I believe he started his career at featherweight or something of that sort, or lightweight, one of the lighter weight classes. He went up the weight classes, eventually unified and became undisputed at light welterweight. Then he moved up to welterweight, so he's captured world titles in several weight classes. Then he moved up to welterweight and he managed to beat Jeff Horn and captured the WBO title. Well, if you look at Errol Spence's entire career he's been at welterweight. There's been moments when he was off season and we saw him blow up in weight. And the reason why he was blown up in weight was because he's a naturally big guy. Like, I've seen pictures of Errol Spence next to his stablemate from the same training camp, Jamel Charlo, the Charlo brothers and such. And the size difference, although the Charlo brothers are like super welterweight to middleweight, or light middleweight to middleweight, the size difference was not that substantial. So I think it's fair to say Errol Spence is the bigger fighter than Terrence Crawford. Because he's bigger. Not only is he a bigger fighter, he fights like a bigger fighter. He's a guy that tends to bully his opponents with body punches, with inside fighting. He when you're in there with Errol Spence, you feel it. You feel his presence. You feel his size. He like, there are some fighters that are big fighters, but they don't fight like big fighters. They tend to box. They don't tend to fight inside. But with Errol Spence, you feel every stone or weight that he's carrying on his body. He puts it into every punch when he's throwing body punches. So for that reason, I actually think that Errol Spence does have a legitimate chance of beating Terrence Crawford because of his size. So size is one factor that he has over Errol Spence, over Terrence Crawford, sorry. He's a bigger man. He started at a bigger weight class. He started his career at a bigger weight class. And not only that, he's talking about moving up as well. So the fact that he's thinking about moving up and fighting the likes of Canelo shows that he can move up. I mean, can you think of Terrence Crawford moving up in weight and fighting Canelo? It's a much harder thing to imagine happening than Errol Spence doing it, because Errol Spence is a big guy. He's a big dude. So that's one reason why I think he can potentially beat Terrence Crawford, because of his size. Another reason why I think he can beat Terrence Crawford is because he's the younger man. Now, I don't know their age exactly, but the fact is, right, he is younger by a couple of years. And the fact that he's younger, obviously youth is a factor, but I think youth is the reason why I think he could potentially beat Terrence Crawford. Like, Terrence Crawford has been operating in the sport for the last 12 to 15 years, and he's gotten to the point now where, like, he is relatively older for the welterweight division. I think he's like 35 or 36 or something of the sort. So because of that reason, because of Errol Spence's relative youth, like, he's not too young. He's not like in his early 20s or something, but he's still younger than Terrence Crawford. I think because of his relative youth, he may have more energy. He might have more snap in his punches. Like I just mentioned, he's bigger as well. So his youth, combined with his relatively being bigger and bigger size than Terrence Crawford, they're 2 formidable factors that I think Errol Spence can use against Terrence Crawford. Another reason is more political. The reason why I think Errol Spence could potentially win this fight against Terrence Crawford is because it's a PBC show, and let's be honest about it, Terrence Crawford is the flagship fighter for PBC. He's not the main fighter. Obviously, they've got Canelo now, I believe. But for a long time, he was the guy that the PBC were really pushing. And he was one of their main draws in the sport. Like, this is a guy that's got a lot of fanfare in the welterweight division and was seen as the legitimate heir to Floyd Mayweather. Like, after Floyd Mayweather retired, obviously there's that famous story of him giving a black eye to Mayweather, and now they're about to fight. Like, because of that reason, I think Errol Spence is getting a push from PBC quite substantially. So if it gets to a close decision, there's a very good chance that he's going to get the nod, because it's a PBC show. He's a flagship PBC fighter, and he's about to fight a super fight, and if he wins against Terrence Crawford, it's gonna put his career on another stratosphere. So they're the 3 reasons why I think that Errol Spence has got a very, very, very good chance of beating Terrence Crawford. Tell me what you think below. List it below. Why do you think that Terrence Crawford? Why do you think Errol Spence has got what other advantages do you think Errol Spence has over Terrence Crawford other than the ones that I mentioned? The 3 that I've mentioned is his size, he's bigger, his youth, he's younger, and he's got the political connection with it being a PBC show. They're the 3 reasons why I think Errol Spence can actually beat Terrence Crawford. Tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.